Okay, so how to keep yourself safe on the internet? And there are some very simple rules to follow, although they're not simple to follow, as it were. The big one is to have good, strong passwords. Unfortunately, this is a fairly complex thing for humans to do. It's not natural for us to remember passwords. So if you reuse passwords, if you use passwords on 2 different websites, it makes it much, much easier for attackers to gain access to your systems. If one of those websites is compromised, then you're almost certainly going to be compromised on the other one. As soon as an attacker realizes that a particular password is associated with a particular username, they will then take that username password combination and spray it across a whole bunch of servers on the internet just to see if it'll get in anywhere. And if attackers can get into your mail, your email, then they've basically got your life. I think this is something that people don't generally realize about their email accounts. The ability to reset your password in most of these service websites that you use, the government websites, the corporate websites, your banking website, all of these things, almost all of that is channeled through your own email, through your mailbox. And so it's one of the primary things to protect. So if you're going to put a really, really powerful, really solid password onto something, the one that's really nasty to remember, that you'll force yourself to remember, that's the one to put it on. Because through that, an attacker could, in theory, get access to anything else. Simply by going to the website and saying, I've forgotten my password, and they'll send your email a link to reset the password for you. The second big control, though, and this has only really become available to users in the last, I suppose increasingly in the last year or year and a half, is multi-factor authentication. Now, multi-factor authentication is the idea that you're not using a single factor, a password, to authorize your identity or to prove your identity. You're using more than one factor. The most common one these days is your mobile phone. Either a company can send a text message to your mobile phone that has a code in it and you can type that in, or you can have an authorization app on your phone. And these are really great because you sign into a website, you put in your password, and your phone just pops up a dialog box and says, is this you? Do you want to do this? And you just go, yes, I'll do that. No transcribing of the numbers, it's nice and easy for the user. What that effectively means is that even if your password isn't very good, or your password has been discovered by someone else, and they attempt to use it against you, they still can't get into your account unless they've actually physically got your mobile phone or can somehow take over your phone. And that's one of the interesting distinctions between using an SMS code, where they send you a code as an SMS text, and using an authenticator app. One of the things that was happening a couple of years ago was that because people started using SMS for this second factor in authentication, what the attackers were starting to do was to phone up mobile phone companies and go, well, actually, I've lost my phone. Can you transfer this phone number to my new phone, please? The phone company would transfer the phone number over, and the security text message would then go to the new mobile phone. So that was how they started to get around it. We've also recently had situations where it's actually possible to lift a text message out of the ether because the text messaging system isn't encrypted, it's not secured in any useful way. So this other option, rather than using text messages but using an authenticator app on the phone, is actually dramatically more secure than using text messages. And if you're given that option by anything, definitely use that. There are various different authenticators. Google offers one, Microsoft offers one, and there are various third-party authenticators as well. And you'll find that almost every website that you go to now, or every major website that you go to, if you go into security and settings, it will offer you the option to turn on multi-factor authentication. And if you do that, you've dramatically increased the strength of protection for that website.